Happy Spooky Friday. Welcome back to another episode of Murder, Mysteries, and More. My name is Kaylee.
And my name is Desi.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to turn on post notifications. Before we get into this case, we always encourage those who have useful information for any unsolved case to please report it to your local police and sheriff department. Warning: everything about this episode that is going to be mentioned is going to be very spooky, very scary, very skeleton. If you're not comfortable with this, then don't watch it.
For real, don't watch it. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, October is the time for spunkin. I did
Pumpkin.
it. Pumpkin spice lattes, autumn leaves, sweaters, festivals, pumpkin patches, and scary movies. If you are a horror fanatic like me, you've dived deep into the world of movies based off Lorraine and Ed Warren. Today, we will be going over the real story of one of the popular movies in the franchise, The Conjuring.
So, Edward Warren Miney, he was born September 7th, 1926, and Lorraine Rita Warren, she was born January 31st, 1927. They were an American paranormal investigator and authors. Both were born in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Edward was a World War II U.S. Navy veteran and a former police officer who became a self-taught demonologist. Lorraine was a professed clairvoyant and a light trance medium. The couple married in 1945 and they gave birth to their daughter Judy Warren in 1946. Ed and Lorraine were members of the Roman Catholic Church. They founded the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952. They have claimed to investigate over 10,000 cases over the span of their long careers. Unfortunately, many believe that most of these cases, such as Amityville and the Snedeker family haunting, did not happen. The Warrens ran the Warren Occult Museum, which was back in their home until 2019.
In 1971, the Perron family moved into a 14-room farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, and immediately after moving in, Carolyn, Roger, and their 5 daughters began to notice strange things happening. It started out as something very small, such as the broom going missing, things moving from place to place on their own, sounds of scraping in the kitchen, and small piles of dirt in the center of the kitchen. Then the daughters began to notice spirits around the house, and most of them were harmless, but some were kind of angsty, angry little bitches. So
And gay demons.
they were very angry demons. They were hangry. So Carolyn did research on the history of the home and discovered it had been in the same family for 8 generations, but many died under mysterious or horrible circumstances. Several of the children had been drowned in a creek, one was murdered, and a few hung themselves in the attic. According to history, Bathsheba Sherman, who lived in the parents' property in the mid 1800s, was supposedly a Satanist. And this was never confirmed or denied, obviously. There was even evidence that she may have been involved in the death of a neighbor's child, but she was not put to trial for this, and Bathsheba would be the worst to torment the Perron family.
According to Andrea, the oldest, Bathsheba perceived herself to be the mistress of the house. She represented the competition her mother posed for that position. The family experienced spirits that smelled like rotting flesh and would cause beds to rise off the floor. The father of the family, Roger, would enter the basement, and Andrea would feel a cold, stinking presence behind him. The heating equipment would often fail mysteriously, causing Roger to venture down there. Over 10 years, the Warrens made multiple trips to investigate these phenomena. At one point, Lorraine conducted a seance to contact the spirits. During this seance, Carolyn Caroline became possessed. She was speaking in tongues. She rose from the ground in her chair. Andrea witnessed this, stating, quote, "My mother began to speak a language not of this world in an unknown voice. Her chair levitated, and she was thrown across the room." End quote. After Roger kicked the Warrens out due to worrying about his wife's mental stability, the family continued to live in the house due to financial instability until 1980, when they finally moved out. The spirits were silenced and the hauntings ceased.
Ooh, spooky. That's
Very spooky.
that's crazy. Now going into the Conjuring movie itself, there are some very noticeable differences between what actually happened and what is in the movie. Obviously, Bathsheba is loosely based on a real person, but unlike the movie, she did not die by suicide after sacrificing her son. She actually died in Burrillville in 1885 with her son, Herbert Sherman, who lived to be he lived about another 18 years after she died, basically. Also, the exorcism, the exorcism scene did not happen, but a seance did happen, like we just talked about. And Ed and Lorraine Warren were actually minor characters in real life, unlike in the movie where they are basically like the center of the movie. They're major characters. They're very involved in this. And the reason they were minor characters is because they were thrown out by Roger. And the house in the movie is not the real life house. The real life house is in Rhode Island, and the one in the movie is in North Carolina.
Yep, Pender
Which,
County, North Carolina.
yep, and it's actually a smaller house compared to the actual Rhode Island house, which had 14 rooms. The North Carolina house actually only had 3 rooms, which is crazy.
It is crazy.
Because that's a big difference.
But it probably would have cost a lot to.
Uh, probably considering it was like it was their first like movie in the series because it came out before Annabelle did, and
Yeah.
yeah, so they were running on a smaller kind of budget ish, and like Ed and Lorraine actually aren't very respected by people or loved by people. Actually, a lot of people didn't like Ed and Lorraine, so it was kind of like an iffy thing to make these movies based off of them. So yeah, crazy stuff. But the Conjuring house is actually now owned by somebody. Her name is Jacqueline Nunez, and it was bought in 2022 by her. And she has since opened it to paranormal investigators who have paid to stay overnight in the house. Before then, it was a private home, and no malevolent paranormal activity was ever reported again. And the Conjuring second and third movies are also based on real events. The second one is actually based on Amityville, and the third one is based on a guy who he did actually kill someone, and he went to trial for it, but he was found guilty because they did not believe that he was possessed, which I can understand that, but
Yep.
sometimes maybe you do get possessed and kill somebody. I don't know. Along with many other movies in the Conjuring universe, such as Annabelle, which is about the doll.
Yep. I do not like creepy dolls.
Which, like, the doll, like, in the movie versus the doll in real life, completely different dolls.
Yeah.
The one in real life is a Raggedy Ann doll, versus the one in the movie is, like, one of those really creepy dolls. But, like, that's the purpose of the movie is, to be more scarier than, like, what actually happened.
Yeah.
But all these things happened in Lorraine and Ed's careers. So it's pretty crazy. They investigated a lot of things. A lot of things.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And a lot of people speculate, hey, these aren't real. But nobody really knows.
I know Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved, they actually went to stay at the Conjuring house.
Yes, they did. Which was really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, dude. I wish the occult museum was still open because that would be something I would love to go see with all like the creepy stuff that they have. Like, I wish it was still open, but it's not. And it's not even like ran by Lorraine anymore. It's ran by her daughter. But Yeah, because Lorraine is still alive. Ed is not, though. He died forever ago. I actually think he died before the Conjuring movies came out, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
wow.
Yeah, he died. Let's see. He died in 2006 at the age of
That's
79.
quite a while ago.
Oh, and Lorraine actually died as well, but she died in 2019 at the age of 92. So,
Okay, that's pretty recent.
yeah. So, pretty crazy. They're dead, but now they're coming out
Yeah.
with the last Conjuring movie, which I'm super excited to see what they're going to base it off of.
Now to Reddit comments. Pavlov the Wizard. The Conjuring is generally horrifying.
Yes.
And Tag Wairu. The scene with Joey King saying there's someone behind the door still creeps me out. So good.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Channel 4 Newsman. Oh man, the clap game will forever stand out to me as a creepy ass scene. That shit was pretty creepy though. If you haven't seen the clap game scene, bruh. Oh my god. Pavlov actually responded to this and said, "It's so freaky. I was on edge for that entire scene. It's horribly quiet and still, and then revealing she wasn't even in the room." Yeah, it was the ghost.
Yep.
Yeah.
A spooky ghost.
Spooky ghost.
Serial Killer 24. The demon on top the cabinet scene scared the living daylights out of me. I think the second Conjuring movie is the scariest one of the entire franchise.
Yeah, because that one happened. Yeah. That one was pretty creepy actually. Especially with the chair. I forgot about that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch these movies again. Because I've blocked out a lot of the things. Deleted. I loved it when I first saw it. It was one of the first modern horror movies to mimic the cinematography style and tone of earlier 70s, 80s movies. I haven't watched it in a while, but I recall it getting a little too far into tropey territory towards the end to the extent it pulled me out of the movie a bit. The more subtle stuff that plays out during the rest of the movie is excellent, though. That is true. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
Iggy D. Kenning. I'm a horror movie aficionado, and The Conjuring legitimately robbed me of sleep for days. Probably because I slept in a basement at the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would probably freak me out too.
Yeah, the movie focused mostly on this weird stuff going on in the basement. So yeah, that'd probably freak me out too.
Which I find some basements a little creepy.
They can be.
Yeah, at night especially.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they can be. They can be really creepy. Or just really stinky.
Or yeah,
Stinky ew.
nasty.
Nasty.
J Joe 05. The scene with the wind blowing the sheet away is my favorite scene. The implications of that are so scary. Something could stand beside us all the time and you wouldn't even know that. I love a good scare.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Oh, minutes to Meteora. Conjuring 1 and Insidious 1 started the whole American supernatural jump scare movement in Hollywood. Those two films were generally quality films at the time. I do agree, but out of the two, Insidious 1 scares me the most. I hated watching it as a kid, and even now I'm still kind of iffy watching it because I'm oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched all the Insidious movies and those were scary.
The first one they just creep me out to a point where I'm
Yeah.
I feel like that for the rest of the day after watching it.
The creepiest movie for me, though, was The Boy because
Oh,
it
yeah.
ended up turning out somebody was living inside the walls. It wasn't just a doll movie.
Yeah, it
And that
was
to me is even more freaky.
the one that was pretty creepy for me besides Insidious was probably Hereditary. That
I
one.
don't think I've seen that one.
You haven't seen that one?
No.
You really basically what it is this this person's mom who is mentally ill passes away and
Oh,
it's basically they're tormented by something sinister.
gotcha.
It's very creepy. Mm, it's very creepy. You just have to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Cause the next Reddit post is by Jonas_ML. Is The Conjuring really based on real facts? Is there any historical proofs? Randy M 1982 said, I watched the documentary about the house on Netflix and it didn't really seem like much happened. Some of the same, I felt a presence. Something alerted the motion detector. This basement or confined space feels creepy. Yeah, that documentary was pretty boring. But it is based on a true story.
Art Schernurple. Also, the doll was a damn Raggedy Ann.
I just said that too. It
Yeah,
was. It wasn't that
it
scary.
was.
Kabita_Nico, based on real event movies, rarely actually match the events they're based on, even when the portrayed events aren't paranormal. The events in the movies are essentially what the Warrens claim happened, but what they claim happened is paranormal nonsense. So yeah, pretty much they over dramatize like what happened to pull people in, basically. It's the effects of Hollywood.
GCHMPLN. As far as the proof goes, they claim that ghosts will mess with digital cameras or any tech to capture them. They only properly appear in old photos and first-person encounters. EVPSs are another story. Now, ghosts only whisper through radio static was before 1990s. Ghosts would full-on wail and moan through the night. They are more advanced. We become the smarter they get.
That's true. The more advanced we become, the smarter they get. They do
Yeah.
seem to like outdo us in a lot of things.
Next thing, we're gonna see ghost streaming.
Oh my god, I would love to see that actually. I would love to see that. That would be funny. Bathsheba, can you stream Outlast for me? I want to watch you
We're
play
gonna
it.
see them streaming. We're also gonna see them making TikToks.
Oh my, I want to see a skeleton man dance, bro. I want to see him get down and boogie and shake his little bones. I want to see it. Oh my god. Jaden Ruffle, uh, which this person is wrong. No, it is not. Ed and Lorraine Warren were real people, but they were liars, like mediums. They claimed that the Amityville haunting was a real experience they had. The writers of the original Amityville haunting book revealed they made it all up to sell better.
I can see that.
Yes, but I feel like this is probably based on real events, but they just over dramatized it.
That's usually what happens, and like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people. I mean, you can believe in ghosts if you want to. You also don't have to believe them. I think everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I do think that a lot of people's like the real idea of ghosts are a lot different from what Hollywood portrays. Like most of the time it's like an orb or like you might hear a voice type thing. You're not gonna necessarily see. I've never seen an apparition. You can, but you're not necessarily going to see all the crazy stuff you see in horror movies happen in real life as much.
No, there's a lot of
Yeah.
other things that happen sometimes, especially like if you go to places like Waverly Sanatorium. There
Yeah.
are a lot of different things that do happen that show, hey, ghosts could possibly exist.
Right.
But they don't really want to be seen too much. They kind of just want to be left alone, like some of
Yeah,
us do.
most of the time, yeah, they want to be left alone, and yeah, most of the time it's Hollywood just over dramatizes everything.
They do because they want to sell that a wow factor, basically.
Yeah,
They want to draw
and
people in.
those jump scares.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of horror movies is to make you feel scared and give you adrenaline rushes and
Yeah.
you know make you want to see it over and over and over again. Basically, yeah, like every movie ever.
Yeah.
Basically,
So this one is by Hellraiser 13, Ed and Ed and Lorraine Warren frauds question mark. Lucky Giraffe. The only good thing Ed and Lorraine ever did was give us a vehicle to have Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga on screen together.
yeah, they are some good actors, bro.
Yeah.
They're so like gorgeous, bro. Like for real. Deleted when Shane Madej and Ryan Bergara get their blockbuster movie series celebrating them as heroes. Real talk though, I'm sick of the glorification. Ed was a predator and they ruined numerous people's lives. At this point, it's not just legitimizing frauds, but actual criminals. Yeah. Can't wait to see Shane and Ryan get their own movie, if it ever
Right.
happens. But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of up in the air for me as far as, like, if they were frauds.
Demented Enjoyer. I legit would very much love to see a fictionalized version of what Shane and Ryan do, except for with actual ghosts. The skeptic paired with the believer is always a good trope. I will eat the hell up.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. They're so entertaining.
They are very entertaining. Uh, our docs. One of the things that aggravates me most about them is not the huckster part necessarily, it's their part in Satanic Panic Frenzy in the early 80s. Look up West Memphis 3 and the occult expert The State of Arc used. Sheesh. We'll do.
Bornstar underscore Jesus. Yes.
Yes! Just yes? That's
Yeah.
it? All you have to say is yes? Doctor question. Funny how demons stopped bothering people once these two passed away. Damn! I don't know, man.
Like Earth. Bruce Wayne hyphen Batman question mark.
Batman. Batman. Batman.
They're
Yep.
con artists.
They're con artists. Oh my god. Exposure.
They're a fraud.
Their frauds exposed. Oh my god. But thanks to Lorraine and Ed Warren, Hollywood has given us many fantastic spooky movies based off of cases and real time events. Whether or not some of these actually occurred, we will never know. The con jury is still out on this one. Also, the con jury has decided Annabelle, the doll, is possessed. So thank you once again for listening to another episode of Murders, Mysteries, and More. Tune in next week for part 2 of the Salem Witch Trials. And as always, remember to keep your eyes open because you could become possessed by a fart.